Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the sad news that Luke Cage on Netflix has been canceled. The whole situation has me bummed out because it's like I feel the same way about Luke Cage getting canceled the same way I do about Iron Fist. I really like both shows. Like in general, I've loved everything that's come about with all of these Netflix Marvel shows, and it's just kind of sad to know there won't be more coming from either show. And it's even more heartbreaking because both shows end in such a big way. Like obviously there's a lot left open for Iron Fist, but the same thing for Luke Cage too, because season 2, like especially the direction Luke's character was going, it's like where that would have gone would have been so interesting, and I would have been so excited to see what they would have done with a third season. Once again, that's another thing of like, hey, maybe Netflix will change their mind. But once again, it's that thing of like, not a lot of networks in general change their mind once they've made the decision that something's canceled. They typically don't unchange their mind. Typically. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but just doesn't happen that often. So now it becomes a big question of like, okay, so obviously there's all the talk about Iron Fist going forward. Like, hey, Iron Fist still exists in that universe, so that means, hey, Iron Fist could still pop up. Characters from Iron Fist in general could pop up in other things and stuff like that. The same thing applies to Luke Cage. But interestingly enough, I just found out, like obviously the production for Punisher season 2 and Jessica Jones season 3 have already finished up, so we wouldn't see any cameos in that regard. So, but that also is determined whether or not there's more seasons of those shows going forward after their new seasons premiere, and that also is determined by what about Daredevil. Obviously season 3 literally just premiered like Friday. Is it coming back for season 4, which I'm really hoping for. Now the other big thing about this whole Luke Cage situation that has to be thought about too is the whole Heroes for Hire situation. The same thing I brought up in Iron Fist. At least in my thought process, it's like if Luke Cage came back for a third season, potentially you could pull forward with like a Heroes for Hire situation of like, hey, maybe they could do more one-off episodes like they did in season 2, or at the very least maybe it could be fused into the plot. But in that type of situation, I'm like, that'd be hard to do just because it's like Luke Cage has already got his own story and then kind of blending in a Heroes for Hire story on top of that, because that would mean also handling all of like what's left open for Iron Fist's story, that it just probably would be complicated. And that's my concern, like if they did do a Heroes for Hire show, which I would want them to do just so they could have these characters back. I think it'd be amazing because they're one of my favorite team-ups. Like that's hands down one of my favorite episodes of season 2 was like the Iron Fist and Luke Cage team-up. And so an entire show built around that would be great, at least in my opinion, but that's because I like these iterations of these characters. But like I was saying, the problem with that though is not only would you like be balancing, you basically be balancing 3 stories at once. You'd be having to pick up and resolve all the stuff with Luke Cage season 2 ended with, and the same thing for Iron Fist season 2. You kind of have to like kind of close those off while also creating a new story at the same time. Or maybe the entire story could be like closing up their stories and them coming together and being the resolution for each, like their duo team up could help close each other's stories out. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, because another thought process of mine too is like that could also be like a big like Daughters of the Dragon type of setup too. So not only is it Heroes for Hire, the TV show, but it also includes like, you know, Misty and Colleen, because those are two key characters from both shows, Luke Cage as well as Iron Fist. So I think it makes sense, like if you want to do like a Heroes for Hire, like include that as well. But at the end of the day, that comes down to if they decide to go down that route. I hope that they do, that it isn't just going to be like cameos or one-offs, like especially because now both characters are available because both shows are sadly gone. So my main reasoning and thoughts behind like a lot of the cancellations, also just the viewership thing too, because like I remember like a year ago, like on The Note, you know, part of Rooster Teeth, they had talked about these different articles that had come out basically saying that the viewership for each subsequent show has decreased. Like, so as every new show came out, less and less people were watching, and I'm sure that goes doubly so with all the new seasons as well. I mean, I've even heard some people go like, yeah, subsequently since Defenders, people kind of fell off even more when it came to the Netflix stuff. They popped in a little bit here and there depending on the show, but they never probably even bothered finishing some of the seasons and stuff like that. But it's also like the key component of like, yeah, these shows have different audiences. Like I'm one of those people who fits in the middle where it's like, yeah, I'm a big fan of all the shows, so I'm not saying there isn't any overlap at all, but I feel like mainly each show kind of has their own audiences because each of the shows is very different from the others. They all have their own feel and aesthetic to it. This is where things currently stand. Obviously, it's a continuously developing situation, so there's probably going to be more coming out about this, and I'm really hoping that they do push forward with a heroes for hire type of situation. I don't know. I hope it isn't just going to be like cameos of the characters here and there, which that'd be cool, but I want both shows to live on in some shape or form beyond just cameos, you know? Especially considering we definitely are never going to get another Defenders, which I really want, but that'd be the closest thing. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Let me know how you feel about this whole Luke Cage cancellation situation, how you felt about the Iron Fist cancellation, as well as would you be happy to see a Heroes for Hire show? Like, would you like to see these characters continue going forward? I mean, also let me know like how you felt about the respective shows. Like, were you a fan of Luke Cage or not? Did you watch it? Did you not? Same thing for Iron Fist. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. To the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good